Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you the tool that I talked about that allows us to visualize the Excel report, the CSV, I should say, the CSV report that we downloaded to our computer. Okay, so I built this tool uh, just to help give a better view, right, of an OpenVAS result. Right? And you, my student, can have this tool and maybe use it on the job, right? Maybe you get on a job and that job uses OpenVAS, and you get the report and you want to shine on your team. You can use this tool to show how you can better present the results of vulnerability findings on your at that company you find yourself. All right, so it's very simple. What we're going to do now is I have the HTML file in the description of this video. Once you grab that HTML file, you just need to open in a browser. Okay, it's not like a code. It's not a Python code or Java code. That you need to do some type of advanced setup for. No, just open it in your browser, give it the spreadsheet, and then look at the resulting HTML page that comes up. All right. So in the description of the video, open the file with your. So here's gonna be mine. Let me show you guys what I have here. All right. So here's what that file is. It's called OpenVAS-console.html. Okay. So this is the file I want you all to open with your browser. Now, when I'm teaching this class, I always like to use my Chrome browser. So I'm not going to double click to open with my Chrome. I'm going to right click so I can open with Mozilla. Okay. So I want to open this tool with Mozilla. So I'm going to right click and then I'm going to click on open with, and then I'm going to choose Mozilla. Okay. So let's do that now. And this is the tool. Okay. So remember, don't forget where we're at. Let's step back a little bit. You were the cybersecurity or SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst, whatever cybersecurity title they give you at the company you find yourself. So you've done the vulnerability scan, right? You were able to leverage the company's vulnerability tool. In this case, we assume OpenVAS. So you took that tool, you scanned the server you were asked to scan. Maybe you were supposed to do this every week or every month. You've done that now. It gives you a result, but at the same time, we have to acknowledge also that OpenVAS has this screen right here. But for me, this is not very. I don't like the UI, right? I wanted something better, right? So that's why I built using AI. I built this new tool that allows us to better visualize, the result of the scan from OpenVAS. Okay, so again, OpenVAS, acknowledging that OpenVAS does has a dashboard like this, but when I show you mine, you see why I like mine better. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is so grab that file. Where were we? So we've opened the file. Okay, remember it's gonna be in the description of this video on school. So open it with, if you're using Chrome at in your own computer, that's fine. Open it with Chrome. But for me, I'm opening it with Firefox. So it's right here. Now I want you guys to go and grab the CSV we downloaded. Remember, we downloaded it into the VM Linux share, something like that. So look at what this tool allows you now. Now you're in this tool. Okay, don't look at this. This tool is being picked up locally, right, from wherever you save it to. All right. So what we want to do now is we want to click on browse. This tool allows you to browse your computer's folder so that you can find that file. So if you go to downloads, if you go to VM Linux share, right? Remember this shared folder we created between our computer and our virtual Linux machine. So if you double click on it now, and then you pick up your app server scan result, pick up that file. Remember, this is the result from the OpenVAS scan, and you're going to click on open and look at what we have. Just look at how presentable this result is compared to this. Okay, so now let's say you're on the job. I mean, just present this, right? So you take that file, you show your your lead or your manager and say this is the CSV scan results, and that you're leveraging this tool so that your team can better visualize the results, right? I'll show you one more cool thing that this tool does. All right. So as you can see, immediately you're able quickly to tell, okay, how many critical vulnerabilities do we have? 101. How many highs? How many medium? How many lows? And then you can come here and you can show only, right now it's showing you everything from critical to moderate and everything. It's showing you everything here, right? It's showing you everything. But then, where's my side panel here? It's right here. See, you can go all the way and then you can start to see a medium and all of that. It shows you everything on one page. Okay, great. And then you have your information as well. Okay, so log, we don't really care about. Low, we don't really care about as an organization. We always like to focus on our critical and our high. Okay, so this tool that I built allows you to click on critical, and then all you're going to see is just critical, right? All you're going to see is just critical, right? And then if you want high, you're going to click on high, but uncheck critical. You have to uncheck critical. Okay, so because now you just want to see high, so now it's going to show you only high. And then if you want to see medium, uncheck high and then click on just medium. The default is it will show you everything. Okay, so now you're only seeing medium, right? So let's say you're starting to work on fixing these vulnerabilities and you just only want to focus on critical, then this tool allows you to do that. You click on what you want to see, it's 101, it's highlighted, that's what you're only going to see in this console. Right now, and then you can also see low. I'll uncheck the medium, and then now I can only see low, and then you can also see logs. So I'm gonna unhighlight my low, so I can only see the logs. So these ones are just informational, right? And then also I added a feature here because usually OpenVAS by default, it defaults to like showing you findings that have a quality of detection of greater than 70. Right, so I also created a filter as part of this tool that will allow you to only see results that are that have a quality of detection that is greater than or equal to 70. Okay, that means that this finding is more, what's the right word here, factual, like I mentioned before, right? This is not a false positive, meaning it's saying that something is vulnerable. Meanwhile, it's not vulnerable. No, this quality detection tells you that if I say that this is vulnerable, then know that it is a vulnerability. Okay, so that's what that quality of detection is, again, as you mentioned in the past, right? So the higher it is, the more the quality of that finding is. Like if it says that this is a finding and it has a quality of detection of 70, 80, 90, 100, it means it's actually a vulnerability, right? There's no like this could be a vulnerability. Okay, so that's that. As you can see, you have all of these features. Again, just make sure you uncheck. If you want to see only critical, make sure you check it and nothing else is highlighted. Okay, and that way you're only seeing critical. And I set it up this way because sometimes you might want to do critical and high only. Okay, so that way it allows you to do both at the same time. Okay, so that's the reason why I did it, for you to be able to choose the ones you want to see at the same time, instead of just, if you click high, it will uncheck critical. No, so you click critical, you want to see only critical, make sure nothing else is highlighted, and then you're only seeing critical. If you want to see critical and high, this type of setup that I've made it allows you to see both at the same time. So now that both are highlighted, then everything you should see here on this screen is going to be critical and then high. Okay, and then high. So for each finding, as you can see, there's a box for it. If there's 101 findings, then there's 101 boxes. Each box, I'll call it card. Each card, right, or each box, each card, gives you quick, brief information about that vulnerability. Okay, so for example, in this case, it tells you that this operating system is at the end of life. Okay, the operating system, this is a note here about this finding. All of this is picked up from the Excel spreadsheet, by the way. Okay, but as you can see now with this tool that I built, it's very, very easy to analyze. Okay, it's very, very easy for you to look at a finding and tell, is it a critical finding? What is it about? The operating system on the remote host has reached the end of life and should not be used anymore. You can quickly see that here. Instead of looking through an Excel spreadsheet or looking through that OpenVAS console that's not very user friendly in the graphical sense. All right. So, and then it shows you, and then it also pulls the solution from the Excel spreadsheet. And then you can see that here as well. Look at that. Update the OS on the remote host, right, to a version which is still supported. So you work with your team on, the best way to put this in place. One thing I want to show you guys after this video is we're going to try to resolve some things on the server, on the app server, and then we'll scan again. I want to show you guys the difference. You see that, once we try to fix some of these problems, the results should be less, right? Obviously, the results should be less. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to do that, because when you put on your resume, you want to be able to say that you found vulnerabilities and then you did XYZ to, to resolve the vulnerabilities. So that way the hiring manager will see that, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about when we talk about vulnerability management. He didn't just scan, he took it a step ahead and he resolved some of the findings. And then this resulted in 50-60% reduction in the number of vulnerabilities found. So you want to put like data in your resume like that. Okay, hiring managers love data like that, right? The solution that you did, what was the, what is the value in that, right? So saying something like, when you implemented solutions to fix the vulnerabilities, there was 70% reduction in the number of vulnerabilities found in subsequent scans. Okay, so data values like that, 70%, 10% reduction in things like that, 20% in cost savings. Hiring managers love to see that in your resume. So each box, so as you can see here, there's another thing I added to this. You can also, when you look at a box, let's say you looked at this one, you went and you updated the operating system, this is now resolved. This solution right here allows you to mark a finding as resolved. So as you can see, I can just look at this, I can click on mark resolved, and that box is gone. Okay, now look here, it's now gone on the resolved. If I click on resolved, the box is right here shown as resolved. Okay, but I also added another feature that allows you to unresolve, right? So maybe you went and you checked, it was a mistake, you didn't actually fix the right server, just for some reason you need to unresolve. It allows you to easily do that. So you can just go ahead and click on unresolve, and then it'll go back to the queue. So uncheck this high, uncheck this critical. So go back to your queue here, go back to your queue, uncheck critical, so everything's showing all of your findings, or you can leave it to critical, that's fine. So as you can see, it's back, and the count is now back to 631 as well. So the count also reduces, right? It's not that it changes, everything is dynamic here. Let me click on mark resolved again and see what happened to the numbers. Here is 101, here is 16%, here is 631. Let's resolve 3, for example. So mark resolved, as you can see, this went down to 100, this went down to 630. Mark this one as resolved as well. As you can see, 99, 629. Mark this one as resolved as well, 628, and so on and so forth. And then you go back to resolved, and then let's say you want to unresolve. Look, the numbers will go back up. The queue will go back up, incrementally. So unresolve, 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 and then go back to your queue, and then everything is back to what it was. So really cool feature here. The other thing I did with this tool is it shows you an executive summary. So sometimes you might need to present these findings to, to the leaders, right? And one thing this executive summary does is it provides you with a document you can present to leaders to quickly give an explanation of, to give a good summary, right, to leaders who don't understand, much of the technical aspects of what we're doing. So it presents the results in a way that presents more like, a business value, right, of what you're doing here to executives. So if you click on executive summary here, as you can see, this is the executive summary. You can say, for example, for YesCertified.com, it'll update this right here. So you can say, on July 9, 2026, a vulnerability assessment was conducted for, or let's just say server, for app server, for the app server. hosting the school app, for example. Okay, and then here you can see the scope of this assessment was internal scan of school app. Let's assume that this application server is hosting a custom application that your company built for a school system. All right, so internal scan of school app. Okay, the scope of this assessment was the internal scan of school application on app server 1331. Maybe that's the asset number, right, of that server. Okay, that's just an example. So on July 9, 2026, a vulnerability scan, was conducted for the app server hosting and blah blah blah. Okay, the assessment covered one unique asset and identified all. This is dynamically picked up from the sorry, those are my kids in the background. So this is showing here. This is dynamically picked up. Okay, but I left this for you to be able to fill in, right? So maybe you're doing this for another team within the organization, for another app team, maybe there's another application team that manages, the web servers, and they're working on application X. So this allows you to be dynamic with what this report will generate. Okay, so total assets, total vulnerabilities, and so on. All right, and then the other thing here, so this is what this executive summary looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like, and then at the top here, it'll quickly highlight to the business leaders, hey, we need to patch this immediately. Okay, we're going to work on patching the critical vulnerabilities immediately. Okay, showing all the critical, as you can see here, we have specific action items we want, right? And that is, we're going to critical, we're going to patch immediately. This poses the highest risk of compromise or business disruption. Okay, so business disruption is a language here that business leaders understand. So we need to be able to say that in here. So, and here we're saying for high findings, we want to patch as soon as possible, ideally within days. So as you can see, this breaks it down into action items that we're planning to do, so business leaders understand, what we're up to. All right. So, and then as you can see here in this executive summary page, it also lists all of the critical findings that we want to pay attention to now, so that it wouldn't allow for business disruption. All right, so, and then you can click on print, save as PDF here. If you click on this, it'll now generate it like this. I'm going to change the landscape. So as you can see, executive summary, OpenVAS findings analyzer, the app I can change this to uppercase, the app server hosting the school app, internal scan of school app. You can use a better title and a better description here. This is just an example. So on July 9, as you can see, everything is here. Total assets. The business leaders can see, oh wow, one of the critical outstanding. What do we need to do, guys? We said what we need to do. We're going to patch immediately. Okay. So you need to gather the team together, work with the developers. If it's a software on the machine that needs to be updated that they're using, tell them to go update it. Okay. If there are ports that we don't use, remember, ports is how computers talk to each other, right? You want to talk to a web server, you're going to talk to that web server on port 80. You want to do remote administration on a server, you're going to make sure port 22 is allowed on that server so you can do SSH. FTP, transferring files, port 21. Okay. So we need, where was I? Yeah. So we need to be able to do things that will reduce this number of critical findings. And one of the things I want to show you guys in the next lesson is we're going to run some commands to close off some ports, right? At the end of the day, when you start with a server, only open the ports that is needed to be open on that server. And you only want to open those ports not to the entire world. Okay? This Metasploitable is built to be vulnerable. It's built to be vulnerable, so it's open to the world. So we're going to close a lot of ports, and we're going to allow ourselves, our machine, because we're the admin, we're going to allow SSH to the Metasploitable from our machine. We're going to allow ICMP, for example, to be able to ping the server. We're going to allow that only to our machine, not to the entire world. Because when you do that, that's when you start getting all of these, vulnerability findings. So we're going to close ports only to the ports that we need open. For the app server, do we need port 8? In this example, we're going to allow only 3 ports. Okay, we're going to allow HTTP. We're going to And then when we allow this HTTP, we're going to allow it only to our server, not to the whole world. Do you get the idea there? Because when you open to the whole world, you're telling everyone that they can ping your machine or they can access a web server on your machine. Meanwhile, that you're not supposed to, you don't want to allow that to the whole world, maybe only to a specific number of people. So that's going to be our assumption. We're going to open a port only to our machine in this case. And also I want us to open it also to OpenVAS. Okay, we're going to open ping only to OpenVAS because OpenVAS needs that. In summary, not to make this video too long, guys, here I'm at 20 minutes now. We're going to try to fix some of these vulnerabilities that we have here. We're going to close some ports and we're going to open only specific ports to our machine only. If we're the admins, SSH should only be opened to my IP as an admin, not to the whole world. You don't want to open SSH to the whole world. If port 80 needs to be open to just my machine because I'm the developer testing it, then it should be opened only to my server, right? And then when you go to production, you start having things like, if it's a web application that needs to be open to the whole world, you start having things like, a CDN right in front of that server, right? You don't just open it to the whole world, you open it to a load balancer, and then from a load balancer, like I explained in that first video. Okay, so for now we're going to try to resolve some of these critical findings, and then we're going to scan again with OpenVAS to see if the number of vulnerabilities reduce. All right, so that's it, guys, for showing you about this really cool tool I built. So I'm going to cancel this print right here. Again, this is what the tool looks like. I hope you guys like it. You can go back to technical findings here. You see all your findings. Now we're just highlighting the critical. I'm going to uncheck critical, and now it's gonna you can see all of your findings. I can see all of your findings. All right. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys are excited to try this out, just like I was. I've done a lot of the troubleshooting behind this. Although I did use AI to build this. There's a lot of troubleshooting that goes into this. There's a lot of prompt engineering that goes into this to make the tool exactly the way you want it. So it's a finished product right now. Go ahead and use it. I also, made sure to include some, security features within, as I was building the tool as well. So for the most part, it is secure for you to use. Go ahead, launch it, give it your CSV, and have a much more presentable solution like this for your OpenVAS findings. Thank you, guys, and I see you in the next video when we try to resolve some of the findings, and then we scan again, and then we compare our results. And after that, we'll do a lab on showing how to use Nessus as well. Okay, Nessus is the other popular vulnerability scanning tool that I wanted to make sure I share with you all. I teach you all in this course as well. So please make sure you go to this website that I gave you guys before, and make sure you do all of this sign up to get this free 30-day license. We're going to set it up. We're going to use it to scan as well and see the result that it also comes up with as well. All right, thank you, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks, and bye for now.